my viewers, hello my good people. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you are watching my vlog. Once again, welcome to Michorani Farm, where farming is the in thing, where farming is our lifestyle. In today's vlog, I want to show you how to make a nice feeding tray. If you may show them a nice feeding tray. This is the most modern feeding tray which I had to improve for my Dorper farming. And here on this far end, we have a drinker too. This is a drinker where they take their water from without struggle. These are the blue plastic containers which retail at Kenya shillings 2,500 per one, a drum of this. Then we had to cut it into two and actually build this long-lasting stand together with this feeder, the feeding place where we are now into Dorper shipping. Let me tell you, my dear viewer, I thought of doing Dorper farming at the beginning of this year. We are now in 2025. I started with 3. I bought 3 from a friend. One of them is this ram. I have that ram. I have a T5 ram, pure T5. If you don't know what I mean by T5, T5 is the grading with which Dorpers are graded. We have the highest quality, which is now a pure breed and a T5. We have a pure breed, a T4. We have crosses now, a sheep and a Dorper, or Dorpers which have been crossed, which are not of high quality, to achieve a T3. But the highest quality is a T5, which weighs at maturity 50 kilos. With me here are my usual people. Wangela, say hi to viewers.
Hi to viewers.
Yes. And Anthony, the man who now takes care of this Dorper shipping place. Of course, the structures are not very good, but I decided by doing a feeding tray and a drinking place, then I'm now coming to demolish all this structure and come up with an ultimate Dorper shed. Because these animals, if you need them to achieve the required weight and to multiply the fastest, you do a zero grazing concept. And that is why it was necessary for me to do this feeding tray and that drinking tray over there. So right now, we've given them some freshly chopped dry corn stalk and green corn stalk, which we've added molasses, and you can see them feeding. With me here is my ram. And for you to get to know that it's a T5, I want you to see how fat it is at the behind. Look at how the testicles, how big they are, how fat it is. This is a ram, the only ram I have. And that ram, mukishika your ram, that ram, if you should have a look at it from a close range, shika kabisa, ndio usaidie kushika miguu. Muinue hivi, muinue, muniambia ni uzito gani. Inueni. This is a T5 pure ram. Ebu, jaribu kuinua. Inueni kabisa, inua wambua. Yes. Okay, wachane nayo. This is roughly over 50 kg at maturity. That is a 2-year-old ram. In fact, it's almost 2 years old. And with that ram, one ram should serve up to 50 ewes, females. But in my case, I have around 7. I'm now improving. And the ram has done its work. All these ewes you are seeing here are pregnant. All these ewes are pregnant. Look at this. Look at this. This is a young one of this one. This is a young one of this one. This was born in March. Shikeni hivi vizuri, shikeni hivi muinue. Unapige picha. Shikeni Wanjala, inua hapa tumboni. This is a ram which was born in March and now it's in August. Actually, this is the beginning of March. This is a almost 6-month-old. You can actually see the teats. It has not been suckled. These are the teats. It has not been suckled. This is a almost 6-month-old ewe. Hii ni ya kike, wekeni chini. Weight yake Yeah. And this one goes, if I have to sell it to you, this one goes for around 25,000. At 6 months old. This is the mother here. And then we have some others here like this brown one here. And then mshike hiyo ndogo brown hiyo. Hiyo ndogo brown hapo. Shika mguu mara moja, that one. Shika kabisa. Shika hiyo. Ndio. Inua miguu yote juu. Inua kabisa, inua. This, hii ilizaliwa lini Anthony?
Hii ni ya mwezi wa 7.
Hapana, sasa ni mwezi wa 8.
Mwezi wa 6.
Hapana, hii si ya mwezi wa 6. Hii ni ya mwezi wa 5 hii.
Ilikuwa mwezi wa 5.
Mwezi wa 5. Hii iko na miezi 3. Look at it. This is a female. This is a ewe. This is a female. We've already cut its tail. It's a very young one. The weight is over 15 kilos. And this is a 3-month-old ewe. The young of a Dorper. A 3-month-old. Then the surprise part of it is that we have another one here. Hiyo ndogo kabisa, which is 1.5 months old. And we've already cut its tail. This one. Wanjala shika hiyo moja hiyo. Hiyo ndogo hiyo. Shika mguu ya nyuma. Inua. This is a 1.5 month old ewe. Dorper. A female. And now I have started the concept of zero grazing. Waache sasa. So I have 9 in total. I started the beginning of this year with 2 Dorpers and the 4 mature ones. The 5 mature ones are all pregnant, courtesy of this ram. The trick is this one is pregnant, that one is pregnant, that one is pregnant. The one with a blue tag there, I have 2, and a yellow tag are all South African. This is a young one, around 6 months old, South African Dorper, that one which is facing the camera now. So the trick here is the new concept, is the feeding tray. As you can see, this feeding tray has some holes here. This is to make sure that there is no wastage, there is no spillage, unlike the way I was doing it before. You can see they dip their neck. I've built it in a way that every ram, every Dorper fits its head inside the container for it to feed. And by so doing, there's no spillage, there's no wastage. If you may move this side so that they may come to feed. Hata ingine ndogo wambua, mtakuwa mnaekea kale kadogo ndio kaokote hapa kando. Kidogo kwa vile nafikiria shingo yake haijafika hapa. Ama kanafikisha? Haifikishi hiyo ndogo. Secondly, this kind of a model or a design keeps diseases away because and dirt away because the food is not spilling down here. The food is up here. I mean, so safely done. This is the ram, a very strong animal. This is a T5 ewe, South African. This is a T5 ewe, South African too, with a tag from South Africa. These are all T5s apart from a few T4s of which I'll improve on the breed. This is how they feed, clean feeding. Now they'll feed for the rest of the day safely. After that, their water is here, very safe. Na hapa Wanjala nataka muweke mawe. Hapa muweke mawe 2 ndio ukute ile ifikii anakanyaga ndio akunywe maji. Sawa. So bwana Wambua. Hii ndio kilimo ya Dorper. And if you may hold the camera, the reason why I decided to venture into Dorper farming, my dear brothers, is because these animals are fast growing. In a year, a female Dorper, a ewe, can give birth twice. And here is the trick. From seminars I've attended on Dorper farming and from Friends Farm, like a video I did 2 weeks ago, before this one, where I visited an ardent Dorper farmer by the name Joseph Mutia. He told me the secret is to separate the young ones, the mothers, and the ram, to keep them separately. So what I'm planning to do is to expand this space and then create around 4 enclosures. One is for the expectant mothers, 2 for the mothers who are not expectant, I mean with the young ones. The third one is where the ram will be, and then the 4th one is for the kids. The reason is because I'm told, which I truly believe, that Dorpers, immediately after giving birth, you separate the young ones from the mother in a period of 30 days when they are already weaned. And by so doing, you are preparing the mother to get ready for another pregnancy. The cycle for a Dorper is 17 days, so it gets ready so fast to mate. So with proper calculations, you can actually get births twice in a year, because the gestation period for a Dorper is 5 months. The maximum weight for a Dorper when well fed is over 50 kgs. Sindio Bona Anthony?
Yes, sir.
Over 50 kgs. For a ram like this one, which is a T5, a ram like this one I'll give you at 50,000 Kenya shillings, because it supersedes the 50 kg kilos. This is unlike goats, which mate through a lot of trouble and which take very long to mate. A goat can give birth once in a year if you're not careful. But Dorpers, it's an issue of arranging. It's an issue of separating the kid with the mother, isolating the mother in a separate place, and then introducing a ram after, let's say, 1 month after separation, because like I told you, the mating period, it has a cycle of 17 days. So you can actually devise a way of separating the ewes from the kids and then introducing a ram to all of them at a go. And within a span of 30 days, they'll all be pregnant. So you can imagine, if you have 50 ewes and you feed them with a single ram of this nature, a T5, look at the size of that animal. Look at the testicles, a factory, very huge. They will all lamp at the same time. When I say lamping at the same time, I mean they'll all get pregnant within a very short span, and they'll all reproduce almost at the same time. If they lamped, if the mating was, let's say, in the month of February, and you give the ram all that month to make sure that it accomplishes its task, then in 5 months after, let's say, the beginning of March, you count 5 months, which will be now by towards end of August. You will expect kids like you've never seen them, because this is a systematic way of mating the Dorpers. And this is something very practical. You may consult, you may Google, you may research. What I'm telling you is very practical. I've seen it with my naked eyes, and that is why I'm now into Dorper farming. These are now a total of 9. But in the next video, which I'll ever do here, you will find me with not less than 30 Dorpers, and I'll not have bought even a single one into the shed. I will start by improving this area. Right now, so well, you can see this other shed is for my goats and my bulls, the African bulls, and my goats. I chose to separate them so that I now carry out that formula I'm telling you. And within the shortest time possible, you will not believe when I do another video inside my Dorper shed. Of course, I'll improve it so that I have 4 compartments like I've told you, for the expectant Dorpers, then for the kids, which I've separated with the mothers, for the ram itself, because I have to isolate it from the ewes, so that at the time they are mating, it's only when they are mating. And then another one for the young Dorpers, which are up and coming. I will do it very well here. I must bring a video while constructing that new shed. But for now, marvel at this. So nice, so well. This is a Dorper, which is 1 month, 1.5 months old. It's a female, very polite, very calm. It looks like it's seeing me. And here are my goats, which are coming from grazing. Here are my goats, which are coming from grazing. Very full, very full, very clean. These ones, I feed them the traditional way. So this is a 1.5 month Dorper, 1.5 months Dorper. So let me take it down there so that the mother doesn't make a lot of noise. The other thing you'll notice, right now I have 5 pregnant Dorpers. You'll get to know that they are pregnant because they shed, like this one is almost, they shed their fur. They shed their fur, and if you look closely, you'll see this other one here, that other one there has begun to shed its fur from this end. Show the bonani. From this end, it sheds like this when it's expectant so that it can now reserve energy and fat for lactation. This one is a young one, this one is around 3 months. This is equally expectant, you can see the fur falling out. This one is equally, this one has been served by the ram. That ram, no joke. In fact, I chose to separate them because hakuna mchezo. Wanja naleta chakula ingine. I chose to separate the ram from the goats because they fight with the he-goat. This is my he-goat, a giant he-goat. I have one. I have around 3, and they are sufficient to serve this population of goats. I have ile nyeupe ya kasina iko wapi? Ile senge ingine ya kasina iko wapi? Oh, na alisema eh? Yeah, I have around 3 he-goats. This one is called Madiogula, the ultimate thing. So these are my Dorpers feeding. So this is a tray which I made using some square tubes and some plastic containers which are very durable, and then a drinking tray in there. Now I will do them zero grazing because I want to improve on their breed. I want them to fatten. They'll not go, foraging like goats. These ones, you do them zero grazing like you do dairy cows. So here I am. You can see this one is now shedding its fur, like I was telling you. This one is now shedding its fur because it's pregnant, this one. And this has already shed its fur because it's almost given birth. This one too, you can see the difference between here and here. You can see the way it sheds its fur. And majority here, these are fast multiplying animals, if I should tell you. So Dorper sheeping is the ultimate thing because Dorpers feed on grass and they are not as troublesome as goats, and they very fast put on weight, and that weight is what we are looking at, so that when you take your produce to the market or when farmers come here to buy your produce, which is now the Dorpers, they pay very well. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much, Abubakar Bajaba, fondly referred by many as Bosabu, for encouraging me to keep Dorpers. The blue ones are Dorpers which he got from South Africa, and he actually gave me 3 for free to encourage me into Dorper farming and to discourage me from doing goat farming. So, Bosabu, thank you so much. I will never let you down. I promise to improve on what you gave me. And this is the start. You can see the feeding tray. This is a most modern feeding tray, well done. And there is no spillage, there is no wastage. They'll feed until the blue basin is clear. And that is what we want in Dorper farming. essentially, what I'm trying to trap are now the droppings, which are here in plenty. These droppings, I use them for these droppings, I use them as my farm manure at the shamba. And that is one thing, that is the advantage of zero grazing. Because with zero grazing, nothing goes to waste. All the poop remains here, then you collect it and take it to your shamba to fatten your soil. These are now Dorpers feeding using a Dorper tray. You can actually see them enjoying, rummaging through their feeding like, keenly and neatly. You can actually see them feeding so well. You can actually see them feeding so well. This is a T5 ram, the ultimate breeder. Look at the fat at the end of it. So fat. Look at the length of this ewe. So well done. Look at the fur on this one. Look at the stretch from the back, the neck, all the way to the back. That tells you these are T4, these are T5 no doubt, these are T4 cross. There are T5s here, some ewes which are T5s like that one, which is already shading, that one inside there, that one which is going round. And these are all females. You can see we normally cut the tail to make sure that all the fat does not disappear to the tail, and to make sure that it makes it easy for them to breed. It's open to the ram to smell. There is a scent they normally detect before to get to know whether it's ready for mating or not. So we ordinarily trim the tail. Like I'm telling you, the advantages is ease of access by the ram. Secondly, to make sure that there's no fat stored around the tail. The fat now will go to the body. And this is what we've done. These are all T4s and T5s. A few T5 like the ram, and that other one is there next to the ram. And the rest are T4s, but I promise to improve on them. So let's enjoy watching as they feed. There is no waste whatsoever. Each Dorper gets into its own separate hole. There is no wastage. This is the advantage of this thing. You can see there they are feeding so well. And one thing you should notice, all Dorpers, if the body is white, the head is normally black. That is how we notice a Dorper from rest of sheep. They are ordinarily calm, and when fed on zero grazing, they can put on weight very fast. So this is now ultimate Dorper farming. Enjoy. Wambua, ingia pale utoe hizo zikuja hapa zikule. Na mjue vile tutafanyana na hiyo ndogo Kwa vile inategemea maziwa ya mama. Toka hapo ila ndio huyo akuje. Inategemea maziwa ya mama, because probably haifikii hapa. But tukiwapatia chakula vizuri, they'll grow very fast and be in a position to feed. These are Dorpers. They are basically, majority of them are resistant to diseases, but I vaccinate them against common cold, against pneumonia, so that they keep top shape, more so when it comes to their individual health. I can tell you with this type of a flock, this is almost sufficient to see you in a span of, let's say, less than 1.5 years, having a total of even 50 Dorpers or even 30 minimum. The issue is just to make a nice basin like this one. This is how it is done, where each Dorper has a hole where it feeds from, like they are doing right now. There's no jostling, and there's no walking or even trekking distances while going for feeding. This is basically zero grazing. What I'm practicing right now is zero grazing type of Dorper farming. They have tags for purposes of security and identification. In some cases, we just cut the ear, the left ear for marking. But with time, I'll make sure that I tag all of them to show the date of birth or the month of birth for aging purposes. You see, if you are a prudent farmer, when it ages to a particular, when you know the age of your Dorper, you can very easily know the ones you are culling, basically, or the ones you are selling. So that is what I mean when I say I'll be tagging them. So these are Dorpers enjoying an evening meal here at Michorani Farm. And as you continue watching, my dear viewer, kindly make sure that you give me that subscription. Leave any comment at the comment section below, favorable comments, or even adverse ones. I don't mind. They'll serve to correct me where I'm wrong. Share, like, press the notification bell so that when I send any video, you are given an alert. And this is it. This is pure Dorper farming. You can see them feeding and properly feeding. You can see economies. There is no wastage. Initially, I used to throw grass or maize, dry maize stalks around here. You can see the wastage. But now this will be a thing of the past. Anthony, hizi zote mkusanye, wanja la musiage pale. You recycle them and give them to Hawa. Unaona hiyo chafu? So that this place remains as clean as this part for us to harvest the droppings only. Sindio Hilary? Don't you agree with me?
It's true.
Yes. This is what it takes. You can actually see the way they are enjoying. The dominant ram is just checking. It's there. That thing is massive. 50 kg plus. In fact, kesho tutapima uzito ya hiyo kondoo. Hebu angalia kifua yake. Angalia kifua. You can see a lot of fat protruding. That ram is sufficient. That ram, a single ram like that one, services around 50 ewes. That is the recommended population. The ratio. The recommended ratio. So here they are feeding. Here they are feeding and feeding very well. In fact, I think the reason why they've not flocked in here is because they can see us all around them. We are still domesticating them. I started zero grazing them the other day when I prepared these feeding trays. But for now, that is why they are not very used. But as we continue interacting them, feeding them, they'll develop a liking to an extent. Each time Wanjala akifungua hiyo mlango, that door, when he opens that door, they come running for feeding. Yeah. Don't you agree? Yes. So for now, continue watching. These are very nice Dorpers. That young one we must devise a way wambua yake ikule. La sivyo Wanjala uje umwage kidogo hapa. So that because it's still young, haifikii hapa juu. It is still suckling, no problem. It's relying on the mother's milk. But when it feeds, will improve on itself. Na muangalia tuongeze supplements zingine kama dairy meal hapa kwa ule mama ako na maziwa ndio atoe maziwa vizuri. So this is me. It's me again at Michorani. I wanted to share with you my Dorper, my new concept, which is now Dorpership. Simama hapa ndio unipige picha na Dorper zangu for purposes of for purposes of now the thumbnail. So that is me. Continue supporting my channel, continue viewing my channel so that we share ideas together about farming. For now, let me end it there. I hope you've learned something. Bye bye. Be blessed. See you in the next one.